Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and this is Original or Remake. Now, you may remember this from the Horror Man and myself doing this on our streams. Well, we decided to bring it to you as a segment. We're going to be judging on the same 5 criteria, so sit back, relax, and let the battle begin. Today, the battle is between Rabid 1977 or Rabid 2019. Now, of course, we're going to go through all of our criteria and all of our movie points. Our first one is cast and performances. Now, of course, the original has Marilyn Chambers, who was a porn star. I thought she was really good in the film. However, I think that the 2019 film was cast a lot better. I like Rose as she's portrayed in this film in the remake. The Doctor's a little bit more sinister. Of course, you have several popular names, including CM Punk, which I wasn't really sure who he was until Joe pointed him out for me and talked about him a little bit. So I'm going to give that one to the remake. I think the cast was fantastic in the remake, and yeah, so that's 1 point for the remake. Our second criteria is setting and atmosphere. That's a tough one. In the remake, they have a lot of clubs. You have some back alleys. You have city life, city landscape, and I think it's filmed really well. However, I'm going to go with the original on this. I like the whole 70s aesthetic to the film because it was filmed in the 70s. I like the clinic where our lead character gets brought because she has a motorcycle accident with her boyfriend. And I don't know, it just seems more identifiable. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere, and that kind of gives you a sense of isolation. So I'm definitely going with the original on that one. So we're tied 1-1. Okay, number 3 is story and twist. That is going to go to the remake for me. Now, I do like the original. I like the original story. However, one of the things I was talking to Joe about when we were watching the remake is that every time I watch the remake, it causes me to ask questions about the original that I believe that they glossed over. Like, for example, when Marilyn Chambers was brought in for the motorcycle accident, she had to have skin grafts. Now, they just present them as regular skin grafts, although Joe was right. They did say experimental skin grafts, but still, it just, where does this come from? It doesn't really tell you. And I think that's one of the advantages of the remake is that you get more of an answer, even though things are different. So I'm going to go with the remake on that one. I love the twist ending. I like the part with the doctor. I don't want to give it away. And the doctor's wife. By the way, that's a picture of Lynn Lowery on his shelf. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So that's 2-1 in favor of the remake. Now, number 4 is runtime and pacing. I think both movies are paced fairly well. Now, you have Rabid 1977, which clocks in at around 91 minutes. And you have Rabid from 2019, which clocks in at 110 minutes. I'm going to go with the original. I prefer shorter movies. I think this could have been cut by maybe 10 minutes. And I think it would have been a better film, even though I still think the pacing is decent on this one. But I'm definitely going with the original on that. So we're actually tied 2-2 with one category left, and that is the X Factor. And this was the one I had the hardest time with. First, I went with the kills, and I believe that the kills are just about the same, even though there are some kills I prefer better in the original, and some kills I prefer better in the remake. The Santa Claus kill made me laugh. I know it's probably warped, but the Santa Claus kill made me laugh in the remake. In the original, I had it as my nastiest scene because it's just brutal. Um, so I kind of went back and forth with that. Then I was going with the blood and gore. I love the special effects and the blood and gore in the remake, especially the way her face looks. It is very disturbing. But then I realized that the original from 1977 has probably just as much gore as the remake. So I was kind of stuck on that too. So the last two subcategories of a five is nudity and nostalgia. Now, nudity, the original wins hands down. There is very little to hardly any nudity in RABID, the remake. There's a ton of it in the original because, of course, like I said, you have Marilyn Chambers as our lead character, and she had no problem walking around without any clothes on. So you have that, which would be a win for the original. But I wanted to take it a little bit further, and I wanted to see if this pressed any nostalgia buttons for me. And it just so happens it does. Um, Joe and I were talking, and the reason why I wanted to see this film is because of this cover. I think this cover is brilliant, and it just made me want to see the film. This cover is great too, but this doesn't have the same nostalgia of going to the mom and pop shops when I was younger and looking at the covers and really making me want to find out how this film was and what was going on in it. So ultimately, the X Factor is going to go to 1977's RABID. This was incredibly close for me, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. And the original wins 3-2. Tell us what you think. And what film would win your battle in original or remake? Also, don't forget to check out Joe the Horror Man's video for original or remake. Remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.